Happy solstice to everybody.
Solstice.
Yes. So here we are on the Bridges of Light International. Always very happy to be here and share some of our research, our trips, and
Our knowledge
yeah.
and our experience on
Mm,
the sacred places on Earth,
mhm.
around the globe,
Yes.
especially the energetical knowledge,
Yes.
and all the experience we have made along the years, leading people and helping them transform their energy in
Yes.
contact, thanks to the contact of.
We are actually just back from a very intense experience around some sites in Sardinia, because in Sardinia there are lots of power places and many of them are aligned to the summer solstice with beautiful phenomena connected to the alignment of the sun. And so we are very energetic tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we have actually absorbed a lot of energy.
So, we will reprise again the Canary Islands, the last episode
Yeah.
about this magnificent archipelago, which is under Spanish government. It is only more or less 4 hours of flight from London. And so let's start.
Start with our uh, here tuned. And so, hi everybody, and welcome, a very warm welcome to all of you. And let's start again, as Enrico was saying, with the Canary Islands, our last
Mhm.
episode. So, where are we going to go tonight? What are we
Mhm.
going to see?
Are again the plan of the islands, and this tonight we are going to see all the energetical places of the whole archipelago, which are not linked, man-made, and linked to the ancient society that was living Canary Islands, which was a very shamanic culture. We have already spoken a lot about the
Yes.
civilization. We are going to see all the natural places in the Canary Islands, which can produce naturally some healing energies, and with many different kind of vibrations for our conscious.
There are lots of power places on these islands because these are volcanic islands that emerged at a point from the ocean in between 12 million
Yeah.
years ago and 2 million years
Mhm.
ago. And because they're volcanic, they are really very, very
Mhm.
strong, very powerful islands.
Mhm.
And so lots of places are really power places.
But actually, well, of course, being the islands volcanic, there are strong energies, but not all the vibration are young. Actually, there are islands which are more young, more fire element
Mm-hmm.
kind of energies, but there are also other islands which are have different characteristics, are more inside, introverted, let's say,
inward, like an
inward.
inward energy, yes.
For example, as you can see, Tenerife has a triangle shape, which is a shape, a very energetical shape, because the tips of the triangle will catch and transmit a lot energy. And also in Tenerife, we have the highest volcano in the whole Europe, which again is a triangle shape pointing towards the sky. So Tenerife is the most young place in the whole Canary Islands, but also there's a part of the island which also is very yin. Gran Canaria has a shape of a circle, as you can see, and it doesn't have a very high peak. It is still a very high island because it reaches 1,000 meters, but it is shaped like a turtle, so it is very yin. It has a lot of very deep and big ravines inside this island, so it's a very a deep energy island, a very contemplative island, because you have many high places, and from the high places you can see the valley below. It is a very meditative scenery.
And for example, Lanzarote is an island that has many volcanoes, and about 300 volcanoes. And so when you are there, you actually feel this powerful energy, but it's a kind of energy that digs a lot within you. And so it makes you confront with yourself a lot. It's really like having a journey within yourself. And actually, on that island, there are lots of places that go into Mother Earth. Lots of tunnels and sorts of caves, and so it really digs a lot within yourself.
Lava tubes.
Yeah, lava tubes, for example. And so again, it's a different kind of quality of energy, because when we talk about power places and energy, we have to think that we do not speak only about the intensity of the energy, but the quality is very important. And the quality is something that you actually feel when you connect with the place, and you actually feel the place. You focus your attention to feel how you react to the place, and in this way you can actually feel the difference in quality.
So let's start our journey, and we will start it for tonight in La Palma Island, which has a very peculiar characteristic. The whole island is a biosphere. It is heritage, a biosphere heritage. So it is completely protected with a law impeding all the airplanes, to fly over the island. Of course, planes which are coming in and coming out from the islands are allowed, but everything else must turn around the island and not pass by, in order to keep the sky quality very high. So it's an island with
very clear skies,
yeah, very few inhabitants, almost nothing pollution. Also, having very few inhabitants, it has very few lights turned on, and these islands also reach 2100, I think, if I remember well, meters on the sea level. So it is full of observatories. All the sky observatories of the whole Europe are located here in La Palma, because you really can have um, 260 days in which you are able to see perfectly the sky. Maybe also depends on the year, but can reach also 2180 days, something, because the volcano actually is over the clouds. Clouds only accumulate until 1500 meters, so have the clear sky, clearest sky of Europe, almost all year round.
We have to say that the experiencing the night sky on these islands is one of the most breathtaking experience. You see so many stars. You can actually see that the sky is filled with stars. Yes, the clouds. You see the clouds below. So observatories are actually clear.
You can see on your left the biggest observatory of Europe. It is a 15 meters focal length. So it's a 15 meters telescope. So it is very, very powerful. And here are some pictures of the night sky taken from La Palma Island. You can see really so many stars. You can't see in the cities.
Yeah, of course. And many times we do not think that we are influenced, affected by the cosmic vibrations, and living in big cities with a lot of light pollution, we have lost the contact with the sky. We do not think about it anymore. When you are there, you actually regain this contact, this connection, and you can actually understand why the ancient civilizations all over the world gave a lot of focus and importance to the sky, because it's really an amazing experience to see it at night.
It is really a blanket of stars, so it's amazing experience. The sky is so clear, you can also distinguish the colors of the stars. As you can see, there are red stars, yellow stars, white stars, but also light blue stars, and all the colors of the sky. This picture also shows us some lightning, some storms going on the clouds below. That's why the clouds are so bright. Really is an emotional experience that.
And another place that it's really a place that I find breathtaking, and it gives a lot of emotions when you are there. It's the forest of Laurisilva, Laurel Forest, and it's a very, very ancient forest that at a point covered all of the whole Europe. But after around
65 million years
yeah,
ago,
yeah,
with that's the origin of
yeah,
this forest. After a time, the
glaciers, yeah,
glaciers came, and so all the forests in Europe of this kind
disappeared,
disappeared.
really disappeared. But here, instead, we still have this kind of forest, and it's a kind of magical forest. You see these trees, and it's all so green. Uh, it's just so beautiful. And here, the quality of energy is uh, very yin. Here it's really very yin, and you are filled with this bright green, and you feel that the place is really filled with a lot of present entities.
Even if we are in Tenerife, which is the most young energy of the archipelago, the energy here is very yin. And here you can see some example of the vegetation.
Lots of
there's a kind the kind of leaves you are seeing now usually in Europe is maximum 30 centimeters. Here you can have 2 meters and something exemplars of plant. This is the mountainous area where the Laurisilva, the laurel forest,
because there are lots of laurel trees, very big trees, lots of trees of heather as well, and you have these peaks that are actually the oldest of the island of Tenerife, and they are beautiful.
Yeah, it's this massive, one of the two oldest of the island. Very deep ravines and in an incredible scenery. Look at the road where they have built it. It is really on the topmost part of the island, and you have 1000 meters on your left and 1000 meters of emptiness until the sea on the right, and the road just runs along the spine of the island.
Yeah, it's a very exciting experience. And then we have also a different kind of vegetation on a different level, and it's a mixture of palm trees and cactus, tropical plants,
aloe plants here.
And again, there are lots of ravines and, as you see, peaks and these rural villages that are really enchanting. A different kind of landscape. So what is really very beautiful of Tenerife is that on a very small island you have many different kinds of landscapes with a different quality of energy. The energy here in this area is very powerful because you have also some peaks, and these were also sacred places for natives.
a very energetical place thanks to the peak receiving energies from the sky, and the two ravines around, which a circle, and retains the energy inside the valley.
Once we had a meditation there at night with full moon, and it, because of the kind of stones there, everything was really silver. It was deep emotional experience.
This is a very deep ravine in the south part of the island of Tenerife. This is the driest part of the island, which has the driest climate. The whole archipelago. You also have dunes there in Maspalomas is a bit more dry, but here also the peculiar part of this ravine, this gorge, is that actually even in the driest part of the island there's a waterfall, a very big one. And why is it so? Knowing that this area is so dry, that is thanks to the phenomenon of the horizontal rain we told you about. The clouds accumulate along the mountains of the island, and the leaves of the plants, which are very cold in comparison to the temperature of the air, will make the water of the clouds liquid waters, and so the leaves of the plants will collect literally waters from the clouds, and the phenomenon is so intense that also the ravine, the gorge, is very humid, and the rocks are doing the same, is producing the same phenomenon, which is produced by the leaf. So you can have this waterfall, and at the end, at the lowest part of the valley, you can also have a small river, and here the vegetation is totally lush, and that's the driest part of the island. This is called the Barranco dell'Infierno, so the gorge of the hell.
There is a very beautiful trekking route that is really nice to walk. Here you see the waterfalls. Again, it's another breathtaking place. You've seen all the raving.
Actually, the waters of this waterfall is very peculiar.
Yeah, it's very powerful. It's really a vibrational water, so that means that the quality is really very energetic, and it is really powerful.
It is a seventh chakra water. This water is coming literally from the sky, so it works a lot on the spiritual part of your energy system. Very powerful, and also has healing properties.
Yeah, because the vibrational waters contain all the frequencies of the light, and for these reasons they work on a very subtle level, harmonizing the chakras, and helping expand the aura.
The walls of this gorge are almost 100 meters high, so yeah, let's go there.
those waters are also filled with a lot of minerals, just like this one, which is probably the most amazing water of all the Canary Islands. And it's a place called the Well of Health, because this water has really amazing properties. It works in a very deep way, so it makes a very deep cleansing of all the organs, especially the organs like bowels, stomach, or liver. And you can drink it, but also there is the possibility, if you go there, there is a small hotel, and you can actually have a bath in a bathtub with very hot water, and they mix this water with the salty water of the ocean, which also has a lot of properties, healthy properties. And so you have, before eating anything, right early in the morning, have a bath there with this hot, very hot water. And after that, they give you something to drink, like herbal tea, for example. And after that, you lie down with a blanket in order to relax. And it's really a way to cleanse your body very, very deeply. So it's really like a detox treatment. It's a beautiful water. And from the vibrational point of view, it is one of the strongest that we have encountered in our research.
It's so strong that actually in historical times there's a chronicle. There was in the 1700s there was an epidemic on the island of El Hierro.
Yeah, terrible disease, really. So many animals and people died of that disease.
From all the island, but people living in this area of the island didn't even felt sick.
They didn't catch
the disease. So it was incredible. The scientists asked themselves why, and that is how they discovered that the people living there, humans and animals, were drinking the water from this well. Everyone which was drinking from this well didn't get sick at all. They not only survived, they didn't even take the disease. So it was a very, very powerful
Yeah, we
water.
also have to underline that even nowadays, with the pandemic we are having, very, very, like 2 or 3 people just had had some problems, probably due to beautiful you have there, so healthy. Yeah, and it's a kind of water that is also very, very good for the muscle. It has a very relaxing effect, anti-stress. Yeah, and then we have this tropical vegetation everywhere, so all the year round we have lots of colors, everything is green, because these islands are the islands of eternity.
This is the northern part of Tenerife. Is a little bit more humid and cool, and so you have this vegetation.
And you have to think that these islands were considered by the Greeks the place of paradise, where people after dying would go. In their vision, that was the place of paradise, because we have this eternal spring. The beautiful park, all the typical flowers.
This is a typical Canarian ancient house made with trees, pine trees coming from the island, and this pine tree have the very strange property of being they don't take fire. Literally, it's a kind of wood, very special and strong kind of wood which cannot be burned.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, Always inside lush garden. This is a banana plant on the right.
And these are the typical houses when the Spanish conquered the island. They started to build. It's a typical architecture.
As you can see, the corridors, which are part of the house, don't have any kind of walls. They just look inside the courtyard, so you can really understand that climate. Wonderful.
And then a typical thing, something that we love very much, are these squares where people meet, and local people meet, and of course tourists. When they are there, you can go there and have a coffee, and there are these big trees. And because people live always outdoors, because the climate allows that, so people live really always outdoors.
This is a kind of square design typical of the Canary Islands, which has been designed more or less in the 1800s. And you can find these kind of squares all around the islands. Very natural. The trees are very ancient, as you can see, at least century old trees, and central part with the bar and a gazebo for the musical groups to play for the people.
Yes. Yeah, it's beautiful. And here we have a portrait of a typical inhabitant of the Canary Islands. They love music, and they have their typical folk music. Apart from dancing, music coming from Central and South America, they have their own music, and they love music. And here we have a typical woman from the Canary Islands with these hats. And talking about trees, here we have some juniper trees. You see, very, very special. Here they are bent by strong winds, islands. And these are also very, very old trees, hundreds of years old, and sometimes even thousands of.
They have a very strong energy.
Yeah, of course.
And there are a series of junipers here, very old, around the area of the northern part of El Hierro.
Yeah, they really look like sculpture. Yeah, and then we have this special kind of pools. These are natural pools that are actually like really inside the lava, And it's really beautiful to swim in there because you have the rough ocean all around. But there, as you see, the water is really still, very crystal clear. And it's really nice to have a swim there, and with the sound of the ocean, big waves. These are the ones that you find in the town of Puerto de la Cruz in the north. bathing. We love bathing in lava and the ocean background.
Water is fresh because there are some secret lava tunnels underneath, so fresh seawater is coming inside these pools. Yeah, it never gets dirty, always very fresh, but you don't have waves. So you are protected by big waves, but you can also see them. Meanwhile, you take a safe bath inside this pool. Instead, if you take a bath outside the Canary Islands, you can also have quite normally 4 meters high waves. It can be dangerous.
Yeah,
Here
currents are very strong.
Yeah,
Yes.
here in comparison, you are very safe. This is one of the best ones. Lava has made a tube, a natural tube, and while flowing inside the seawater, and so it created a natural cave. And so you have a natural lava pool inside a cave.
And this one is one of most beautiful ones on the island of El Hierro, Arco Azul, blue, light blue, as you can see. Yeah, very crystal clear, beautiful.
I think this is the best charcoal in the whole Canary Islands. As you can see, you also have a hole on the roof, and you can have the sun entering with rays of light, um, giving light to the waters, take this kind of color. And lava formation are very peculiar here. As you can see in the background, it has taken the shape of very characteristical volcanic shape of cylinders, a set of many cylinders.
Yeah, and talking about these volcanic tubes, on the island of Lanzarote we have this one, which is really very special because here nature and architecture merge together thanks to one of the most visionary architects. His name was Cesar Manrique. He was original from Lanzarote, and he had this kind of organic architecture, very much in tune with nature, and he created amazing, beautiful places where nature and architecture as well. So, again, a very strong experience when you see this. I couldn't help sometimes crying seeing these places because breathtaking. Yeah,
Also,
blows your mind, really.
This is also the only part of Europe where albines crabs live. Because of the darkness of this cave, yeah, this very peculiar, unique species of crabs developed. They are totally white, and their shield is white, and they are almost blind because of the darkness, and so they really didn't need to see. They live here, and of course they are protected.
So in this case, you cannot have swim in this pool. Yeah, they are protected. See how beautiful the place is, gardens and artificial pools as well. But everything everything merges so beautifully.
This is one of the oldest lava tubes in the world, the fifth longest in the world. The other four are in the Hawaii Islands. But even if in longitude this lava tube is the fifth in the world, they only measure it in length. This lava tube has other very peculiar characteristics. Probably it is the highest in the world. We visited another part of this lava tube which was kept natural, and it made two caves, two lava tubes, one on top of the other, and each lava tube was at least 7-10 meters high. So having two lava tubes, one on top of the other, was really incredible. It is unique in the world.
And here the theater, auditorium built inside this volcanic,
which of course uses the natural acoustic properties of these rocks.
and there are also high cliffs, as you see. There is a spectacular view from these cliffs.
Here we are in Lanzarote. This cliff is as long as 1/3 of the island, more or less. A very long cliff with which a very peculiar shape.
Very steep. You have this beautiful view. Yeah, they are usually called the balconies over the Atlantic. It's really like that. Here we have the cliffs in Tenerife, Los Gigantes, La Frontera, El Hierro. See how steep it is.
Almost 1,000 meters high.
Here again in Tenerife, Benijo, another beautiful place with a very dark, as you see, beach, because many beaches are of volcanic sand, and so they are dark black, and this is very special of this island.
This photograph actually is in colors.
Yeah,
it is not a black and white picture.
But it looks like, because it's really so black, and they're beautiful. I love them. Yeah, this one is one in Rife, La Caleta.
Very wild.
There are also sometimes with different colors. Here is like purple, red, and this is due to different volcanic sand, or yellow like this one.
This is a rock desert. Actually, what you can see here is the sand of the Sahara Desert, carried over by the winds, the islands, and along the centuries and millennia, these sands, which accumulated here on these islands, would have developed a rock. So these are rocky formation made out of Sahara sand, literally.
As we were saying, Sahara Desert is not actually that far from this island. La Graciosa, which is now the 8th island of this archipelago, also has a rocky desert. It's a beautiful,
an incredible place, Lanzarote. As you can see from the picture, you have where we are standing, where we take from the position where we taken the picture. We were standing on a red volcanic mouth, so a small volcano which is red. The beach, as you can see, is totally black. A lot of Sahara Desert sand accumulated on the left, making enormous Sahara cliffs, which are yellow. And this beach is really in front of the sea. And because of the mixture of salty waters and a very peculiar mineral, volcanic mineral, which is inside the waters, a very unique kind of life developed there. And it's a kind of microscopic seaweed which you can only find here in the Canary Islands, only here in Lanzarote, and in Lanzarote only inside this lake, which makes this lake green, actually. Yeah. So it's a very unique form of life, like the white crabs. Very unique lake.
And here the dunes, the sandy dunes we're just talking about. You see, it really seems to be in the Sahara Desert. And these are located on the Gran Canaria.
This point, this area is actually has kilometers of sand dunes. It's not really that big like normal desert, but no. Actually it is a desert. You quite a lot of square kilometers. Real desert. Of course, made out of Sahara sand.
As you can see from these slides, the landscape of these islands is really very, very different. Enjoying the day. It was very windy on that day. Yeah. We had sand everywhere, in our eyes, everywhere, in our clothes, and
it was a real sand.
Yeah, like it was like a storm in the desert. Yeah, sandstorm. Yes, really experienced, but we enjoyed it. And Enrico there walking. There were not so many people actually because it was so windy. I loved it.
And on one side of the desert, incredible to stay, but there's a a very small lake with peculiar, very rare birds and animals live there, really next to the desert.
And of course, the Canary Islands are also famous for their beaches. This is an example of a golden beach. This is the one of near capital of Tenerife. And again here, a black beach. This is on the island of La Palma Forte. Las Canteras is a very, very long beach of Las Palmas, which is the capital of Gran Canaria.
Of course, there are some pink, red, very rare, but the powder actually there.
And here, one of the most beautiful beaches we have ever seen, not only on the Canary Islands, but everywhere on the world, in the world, really, on the island of La Graciosa. La Graciosa is natural park, and this beach is really I cannot find another word.
This beach is considered the best, the first best beach in the whole Spain, one of the best in Europe. Actually, really, you have this very light blue sea with perfect rounded waves inside the ocean. You have a very yellow and sand, of course, from the Sahara Desert, but on um, on the back of the island, as you can see, there's a small volcanic mouth with red rocks and red powders. So on the last part of the beach, you also have some pink on this incredible beach. La Graziosa is, as Arianna was saying, it's a natural park. So there are only 150 inhabitants, and they are all fishermen. They are not interested in beaches. So tourists are very few because every day, you can only have probably 150, 200 tourists in the whole area, island, because touristic boats are very few. And so this is a very big beach with 5, maybe 10 people maximum. You can really enjoy it. This is a totally volcanic beach. You have a volcanic rock. This is one of the best beaches, Tenerife, for surfing waves.
And sunsets are also a beautiful phenomenon to watch, and you know, every evening at sunset, it's as if the world stops, you know, because everybody wants to admire and watch the sunsets, and they're so beautiful, different colors and very long sunsets.
Especially south of Tenerife, but also in other parts of the archipelago, there's a very peculiar phenomenon, because of the fact that the climate is so clear, but the still has very often very small clouds around. When the sun goes down below the horizon, it actually starts to color the clouds, and many times you can see not only golden or orange, but also purple clouds
Yeah, you
during
have
these sunsets.
different hues of and so many people just stare at the sunset. Sometimes they have a drink, and there are places with some music being played, and so it's really a moment for yourself during the day. You just stop, you don't do anything, just connect with nature. And these islands are really a place where you can reconnect with nature on many different
Okay.
yeah, I think
So
we
this
have
is the
finished
last
the last
slide.
slide. So we have finished this long journey throughout the Canary Islands, and we hope you enjoyed it. we really wanted to show you different sides of these islands, which are really worth a visit, because there's so much to see, so much to discover. So it's really a worthy experience. I don't know if there are any questions or
some comments. Hi, you and Rebecca.
Oh, again. Hi.
Lovely night sky from La Palma. What a beautiful blue sky. There are so many tree ferns, are they?
Yes. Yes.
Ferns.
Ferns, yes.
A kind of tree. I don't know the word in English, actually. Landscapes with a lot of vegetation. Yeah, it is. Actually, the Canary Islands have a very small territory, but even if the territory is so small, 33% of all the territory is protected in a way or another. Naturally speaking, there are 4 national parks and many other regional parks and many other levels of conservation of these sites. So it's really rich.
There is a question. Is there
any legend about Barranco dell'Infierno? I don't know if I wrote it correctly. Yes, okay, Barranco dell'Infierno. Actually, I don't know about the legends, but actually, the king, the Mensei of the whole Tenerife Island was living just beneath the Barranco dell'Infierno. He was the most important person in Tenerife, the most powerful king of all times in the Canary Islands, because he was in a strategic position. He had water all year around thanks to the waterfall. It was a sacred waterfall, a very energetical water, as we saw it before. And yeah, well, it was a very wealthy Mensei.
There is also a question over down.
The Well of Earth, sì, Pozzo della Salud, literally the Well of Earth. It actually means that water have healthy properties. It was studied by English people, chemically speaking, and it has a lot of minerals on it and a lot of properties on, as we said it before, on muscles, also on the secondary, the brain system, let's say, anti-stress properties, a lot of other properties.
Yeah, so we hope you will take some time to visit these islands. We usually spend our winters there, part of winter, and we really enjoy, and there's really a lot to see. What is there?
Mermaids. Yeah, Huey is asking about the legends on the islands. Actually, there's a very interesting legend about San Borondon, which was a medieval story, very interesting medieval story, about an 8th island covered in mist, which was appearing and disappearing every time. So they talked a lot about this island, a sacred island, which is a moving island. This island was rooted on the back of a giant whale.
Yes.
And so that's why this island was moving, and many times it popped out and
Yeah.
popped away.
Yes.
And many people in the medieval times really believed on it and searched
For this
for this
island.
island.
Yes.
They made a lot of expeditions
Mm.
about them. It is said that this legend was written by a Christian priest, which was a missionary. Um, I don't know the English name, but actually it was a Christian missionary that traveled all around Scotland and also the Orkney Islands, and he made a lot of energy about its trips in the Atlantic Ocean. And, it is said that he found this misty island, foggy island.
Yes. Okay, we really have to leave you, but we are going to come back next week, and next week we are going really to change place completely, and we are going to fly to Burma, Myanmar.
Yeah, Myanmar.
An amazing place, and so we are looking forward to seeing you next week, and we'll be flying to Myanmar. So see you next week, and thanks for watching.
See you.
See you. Kisses. Bye.